Welcome to ProTrade's Fantasy Mailbag, where every week we answer your questions that you submit to us on PROTRADE.com. Hopefully you guys actually watch this video so we know what the answers to your questions. So on to this week's first question, which comes to us from My Name is Flapjack, who asks about the Baseball Hall of Fame. Goose Gossage is in, Jim Rice 14 votes away, probably in next week because the voters are idiots. Discuss.
First of all, congratulations to Goose Gossage, almost certainly the most dominant reliever in history. It's been far too long that he's been waiting to get in, and it's a good thing he's in now. As far as Jim Rice goes, he probably will get in next year. He'll get a lot of those last year's sympathy votes, and I think the voters are in fact idiots for this. I mean, if you didn't think he was a Hall of Famer before, why do you think he's a Hall of Famer now just because some of your peers do? He was only a decent hitter on the road. All of his stats came from being at Fenway, and I don't think he deserves to be in, but he probably is going to get in when it's all said and done.
They're not gonna let you back into Boston. I mean, the guy was huge for the Red Sox, and I understand that blah blah his numbers don't. But sometimes, just let the guy in.
And I mean, you're just ignoring the numbers completely because you're from Boston, and that's fine. But that's not really a good standard for letting people into the Hall of Fame.
All right, next question. From Bosox Fan 3, who asks, "Was I completely insane for rejecting LT and McNabb in exchange for Marchand and Romo in a keeper league?"
That doesn't sound insane at all. I would have done the same thing. Look, I mean, McNabb is basically washed up at this point. He's still a decent quarterback. He's not much of a fantasy quarterback. Tony Romo's on the upswing. He's going to be one of the top 2 or 3 quarterbacks in the league next year. Marshawn Lynch had a very solid rookie year, and you're looking at the same thing with LaDainian Tomlinson. He's getting to that age where running backs start to break down, and though he hasn't shown any wear and tear yet, it's probably coming soon. Marshawn's a better guy to have long term. I think you did the right thing. Officially in Fuego asks, "I'm currently in first in my fantasy league, and I'm interested in trading for Gilbert Arenas because he could help me in the playoffs. I don't need a roster spot right now. What level of player should I offer, if any? Andre Kirilenko, Shane Battier, Rajah Bell?"
Yeah, I don't know if I like the idea of making this trade just because I don't like the idea of assuming anything in fantasy sports. I mean, you have a roster spot right now, but who's to say what's going to happen? And who's to say what's going to happen when Arenas comes back, when he's going to come back, how healthy he's going to be? Certainly, I don't like giving up an Andre Kirilenko. Maybe a Rajah Bell, maybe a Shane Battier, but definitely Kirilenko's too much. And if I were you, I wouldn't do this. I would hold on to my team, stand pat, and see what happens, in the next 2 to 3 months.
Our last question comes from our favorite misspelled Red Sox fan, Go Red Sox Fever 1, who asks, "What is the most used quote in the ProTrade office?"
Well, actually, it is HR, if you've heard me mention during this video, which stands for Human Resources, which is an allusion to any word or phrase which could be construed as having sexual innuendo and therefore be a sexual harassment violation. So there's a long list of words that we can't say at ProTrade, and here it is. So thanks for joining us this week. Hopefully this video gets more penetration in the web community. And make sure you watch the football games this week. Watch out for great plays by tight ends, teams employing 8 men in the box, and lots of spread formations.